What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of Gridiron Glory. We are super excited for this one. We are here at Sheridan to watch the Generals take on the Tri-Valley Scotties. It's our game of the week. I found the fan of the week, and in this episode, who knows, you might even find some Gridiron Glory Player of the Year candidates. Alrighty, so stick around. Gridiron Glory starts right now. Oh boy, do we have a show for you tonight. We'll have our highlights and stories of the games we went to, but we also have something special to talk about. We find out who our player and coach of the year candidates are. And before we get into the show, we do have to mention that one of our teams will not finish this year. Federal Hawking will not be playing any more games because of the lack of players they have. But shout out to Coach Diddy and those boys that got over the hump of getting their first win in the last 4 seasons. And sticking with the TVC Hawking talk, we bring in reporter Zach Paquette, who was at the Miller-Trimble game. So Trimble is ranked 3rd in Division 6 Region 21, according to Joe Idle and Zach. What did you see from the game tonight?
Trimble came out fired up as always and ready to play. Each game is more and more important for them with playoffs right around the corner. Homecoming night and a pink out in Gloucester tonight. Big congrats to Peyton Spencer and Sawyer Coombs for winning Homecoming King and Queen. Also, we have a Max Hooper sighting. Miller ball first. Colby Bartley drops back to pass and throws it up for grabs, and it's Landon Weiser who comes back for the interception, setting up good field position for the Tomcats. Very next play, Connor Wright takes the carry and turns on the Jets. 7-0 Trimble early in the first. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wright takes the carry on their next drive, cuts it up the sideline, and gets brought down at the 9. Next play, Todd Fouts walks it into the end zone. 14-0 Tomcats still in the first. Next drive for Trimble, Cam Kittle throws the swing pass to Blake Guffey, who takes it up the sideline, and look at the strength there, a stiff arm, and carries not 1, but 2 defenders. That sets up the right train, finding the station again. We'll speed it up again. He goes untouched, second of 3 touchdowns tonight. Now it's Miller's turn. Bartley finds Gage Spencer for the nice gain. 2 plays later, Bryce Downs jumps the route, and he makes a house call. Trimble up 42-0 at the half. They would go on to win 48-0.
Yeah, good offensive showcase from Trimble tonight, but how was that defense?
Joe, they came out ready to play as usual. The Tomcat defense was lights out tonight, only giving up 38 total yards tonight and posting their 6th shutout of the season. This team has only given up 6 total points this season, which is less than 1 point per game. Tonight, that front 7 wreaked havoc on the Miller offense, not allowing them to get anything going at all.
Yeah, Trimble's defense is always a consistent threat night in and night out, but what does the rest of their season look like after tonight?
Looking ahead at their schedule, they actually have 2 games remaining. Earlier this week, like you said, Federal Hawking unfortunately announced that they had to cancel the remainder of their season. Coach Diddy had a great start to the season as he earned the Lancers their first win in 4 seasons. For Trimble, this means they have an extra week to prepare for Southern before taking on Wahama in their season finale on November 1st. Now, according to Joe Idle, the Tomcats are ranked 3rd in Division 6, Region 21, so it is very likely they will host a first-round matchup. But, Joe, there is still plenty of football to be played.
Yeah, Trimble State Championship hopes are high, but that Fed Hawk week has some playoff seeding implications. They're ranked number 3, like you said, in Region 22, but because of that lost week, a lot of things could change. Appreciate it, Zach. Whenever a team goes through a coaching change, it can be tough. But for the new Lexington Panthers, it might have been the breakthrough they were looking for. NVL lead reporter Paul Roth has more.
What makes a great coach? When New Lexington High School hired Kevin Board to be their new head. What makes a great coach? When New Lexington High School hired Kevin Board to be their new head football coach, it was to turn around the program and get back to the winning tradition of New Lex football.
Certainly playoffs is the expectation. That's my goal. I like to win. I think you have a lot more fun when you win.
At his previous school in West Virginia, he took an 0-10 team his first season to just their 2nd playoff appearance in school history by year 4. And to his credit, this New Lex team has looked to be on a better path. Coach Board switched up the Panthers' offensive game plan and through the first 3 games of the season put up 52.7 points per game, good enough for second in all of the state of Ohio.
It's been good. They really picked it up early. When we went to a couple 7-on-7s over the summer, we really had a good idea that we had the guys in place that could make big-time plays for us.
But many coaches can be great in some sense of the word. But what separates Coach Board from the rest?
Fun. Every practice. I don't think there's been one practice this year that I've dreaded.
He's funny. He knows how to crack jokes. He knows how to be with kids. He wants the kids to be at the next level.
Board has brought a new energy to this football team, whether it's competitions in the weight room or on the practice field, or even
dance contests. We got a lot of guys that like to dance.
He has these players buzzing for more football. But for Coach, the game plan to success is simple.
Just caring about each other. A group of guys that know that you care about them and love them, they're going to go through a wall for you.
Reporting for Gridiron Glory, I'm Paul Roth.
Things went well for the Panthers tonight, winning 54-14 over Crooksville. And hey, if you guys want to dance off, I'm in. Just tell me where and when. Thanks for the great work, Paul, and best of luck to New Lex as they move forward. To the Frontier Athletic Conference we go, and tonight the Chillicothe Cavaliers battled with the Hillsboro Indians. Our own Will Collins was there. And Will, Chillicothe figured out some things tonight that they hadn't before.
Joseph, not only did the Cavs figure some things out, it was as if they could do no wrong. The Cavaliers came into this matchup at 1-5, and the Indians came in at 3-3, each team looking to stay afloat in their season and earn their first Frontier Athletic Conference win. Quarterback Cameron Smith hyped up his Cavalier teammates before tonight's game, and here's why he's important. Smith takes the snap, rolls out, and hits receiver Logan Snowden for a 22-yard gain, getting the Cavs set up into scoring position early in the first. A few plays later, it looks like Smith hands off the ball, but he pulls it on the bootleg, and he's in for a 4-yard score, making it 7-0 Chillicothe early. On the ensuing Hillsboro drive, they would pull their own bit of trickeration. Kai Rickman takes the reverse 30 yards, and the Indians are knocking on the door. Just plays later, running back Mark Gallimore would muscle his way in from 8 yards out, but after a missed extra point, it would be 7-6 Chillicothe. At the start of the second, the Cavs back on offense now. Smith would drop back to pass, avoid some pressure, and find a running lane on his way to a 50-yard score, putting Chillicothe up 14-6. Later in the second, Smith would give it to Hunter Thomas, who hits the hole and turns on the Jets for a 35-yard gain, setting up Cameron Smith yet again. This time he races in from 15 yards out, putting the Cavs up 21-6 at halftime. Celebrate that score, young fella. They would end up running away with this game tonight, 49-6.
Yeah, not only did the Cavaliers figure out a few things out, they put on an absolute show. Who made this possible?
Well, besides the hunger and determination to notch their first FAC win, Cameron Smith made this win possible for Chillicothe tonight, Joe. If Smith made this win possible, All
right, if Smith did, like you were going to say, make this win possible, how did he get it done? Hillsboro is a tough opponent.
Chillicothe's first 2 quarterbacks have gone down with injuries, so Smith stepped up to fill the role tonight, and he showed exactly why he was chosen to do so. To start, I'll give you his stat line, which is impressive by itself. Smith ran 15 times for 133 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was all over the field tonight for the Cavs. He also threw a touchdown pass, which gave him 5 total touchdowns. Not to mention, he also plays safety on defense. And in previous weeks, we've seen him make big hits and a few picks. But tonight, he showed off his offensive prowess. Smith is quick, and hardly any Hillsboro defender could catch him. For a safety-turned quarterback, he showed that he could flat-out ball tonight.
So Cameron Smith is the reason the Cavs ran away with it. But can you tell me a bit about the Indians?
Hillsboro just couldn't get going tonight. Powerhouse running back Mark Gallimore couldn't get a block and finished with under 100 yards on the ground. Quarterback Justin Spears also struggled with Chillicothe's defense in his face all night. The Cavs get their first FAC win this season, and they gave us a gift, a helmet to display here in our studio. Shout out to Murph, Chillicothe's equipment manager, for the Cavalier gear.
Yeah, Will, as always, thanks for the great work. Shout out Murph. Appreciate it. After last week's play, we had some studs up front that battled out, that balled out, and they need the recognition they deserve. I found some plays from those games, and I broke them down a little bit. Here is some lineman love. Panaleo takes it right, and look at the double team pancake. Sands and Caden King on the new Lexington defender. Couple of strides later, and this time it's A.J. Collins with the bulldozer pancake over the DB. Panaleo would take this one to the house. He better have gotten them breakfast or something the next day for that play.
Meigs' freshman Walker Mayer stands at 6'2", 350, and he uses every pound on this stop. He gets up, extends his arms, uses his hands to push the offensive lineman away, and wraps up the runner just short of the end zone. NY and Drake McLean would get the final laugh though. Next play, McLean gets his hands under Mayer's pads and gets the leverage he needs to block out for the Mikey Seal touchdown. In the FAC, they get some love too. It's Washington Courthouse and it's right tackle Ryan Barton with a kickback and hands up ready to slap and swipe away the defender's hands, then finish it off by leaving him on the ground. Can't do nothing if you can't stand up. Now we have Waterford. Here it's a counterplay and the linemen are going to block down to open the hole. It's Quentin Doak and Hayden Reynolds with a double team to open up the hole behind them. Trimble's Cam Kittle with the big hit on this play, but big gain for the Wildcats overall because of those guys up front. Finally, it's the Wellston Rockets, and they do what I call a big boy down block. Garrett Warnock and Zach Howell double team the River Valley defender, and they do what big boys do at the line. They bully other big boys, and that's why we're giving these two and all the guys we saw some love tonight.
Great job by the linemen there, and Belpre is one of the teams that utilize their lines like no other. Hawking reporter Michael Roth saw that line in person tonight, and Michael, Belpre has a real shot at making the playoffs after tonight's win over South Gallia.
You're right, Belpre has been a surprise team this season with their only losses going to small school powers Fort Fry and Trimble. Their game against South Gallia is another test for the Golden Eagles. The junior Golden Eagles are proud to cheer on their boys, and Belpre is excited on the field, maybe a bit too excited early on. Logan Adams takes his handoff, reverses field. He jukes out a defender before finding some green grass, and then, whoops, he forgets something. The football, South Gallia pounces on that one, and Kyle Northup then takes the pitch for South Gallia on offense. He's looking to pass and finally decides to go deep. Ashton Janey is there, and he pulls it down. He's ruled down before the fumble, so the Rebels keep possession. Later in that drive, Northup ends up doing what he does best. He scampers to the end zone, giving South Gallia an early 6-0 lead. Things would stay going the Rebels' way as Tristan Saber makes a big tackle for loss on this pitch play, preventing Belpre from moving the football. After a few punts on each side, Belpre finally gets some offense going, with Connor Baker finding Walter Fike as he makes a man miss to move the chains for Belpre. The Golden Eagles finally then get on the scoreboard when Adams recovers from his early fumble and finds the end zone. 7-6 Golden Eagles in the second quarter. Belpre would strike again on the quick slant. It's Baker to Fike again, and he's off to the races. Nobody is going to catch this man as he's cashing that one-way ticket to the end zone. That makes it 14-6 heading into halftime, and Belpre would ride this momentum to a 42-12 victory.
Yeah, so it seems like Belpre started slow offensively before really picking it up in the second half, scoring 28 points. What was going on early for both offenses?
Both teams really struggled to move the football early, and they also struggled with penalties, putting themselves behind the chains. South Gallia had some trouble offensively staying on track with many short plays and negative plays. Belpre's defensive line was finding themselves in the backfield all night. There was also a little bit of confusion on offense for the Rebels as they never quite looked in sync when South Gallia had control of the football. What else hurts offenses? The penalty bug, and that bit both teams tonight. Belpre coach Mike Duvall is a Coach of the Year candidate, and he wants more from his offense that struggled in the first quarter. He wouldn't get that success initially as quarterback Connor Baker couldn't find the connection with neither his center nor his wide receivers. This miss would force one of many punts from both sides in the first half of football. South Gallia is led by Kyle Northup, and the Golden Eagles stacked the box and made things hard for the do-it-all running back, gang tackling the senior to bring him down. Northup still found a little bit of success with 2 touchdowns tonight, but it wasn't enough for a Rebel victory.
Yeah, it seems like Belpre might be our sleeper in the TVC Hawking. If they keep winning, they could put themselves in the playoffs, which would be a major accomplishment for that team. Thanks, Michael. Did you miss tonight's highlights? Were you trying to record the screen to show off your son's top play or your boy's big block? Because that's fine, because you can find repeats of our show on YouTube and snippets of our show on Facebook and Twitter. So follow our social media accounts to see that and more. Go to woub.org/gridiron as well to read full game breakdowns and feature stories that we couldn't make the show. We appreciate the responses we are getting, and we love putting out all this content for you all to see. Now we head to the TVC Ohio for 2 teams with aspirations of winning the conference crown. Wellston, Nelsonville, York. Both teams are undefeated in conference play. TVC Ohio lead reporter Jacob Murray tells us who is in the driver's seat for the conference title.
Yeah, you know what? We're here at Boston Field. It is homecoming night here for the Nelsonville York Buckeyes. And look, They were coming into this one pumped up and ready to go. They had homecoming going, but you know what? Were they coming into this one ready to go, or will the Golden Rockets come in and fire on them? We will see as this one. The Buckeyes were coming out strong right away, charging out of the gates, and we had Coach Mike Smith. He was coaching his guys up right before as well, ready to get this one rolling. Mikey Steele dropping back to pass, and he would find Oh, it is picked off. That is Josh Bodie right there, the big defensive lineman with the pick, and right away Rylan Mollahan would take it himself from 6 yards out to the outside for the touchdown, and they would score it going up 6-0. Well, the Buckeyes would strike back right away. Mikey Steele dropping back, and he would find Keegan Wilburn, and he would get to the outside yet again, down the sideline. He would go all the way. Touchdown right there for Keegan Wilburn. He would put Nelsonville York up 7-0. Now Mikey Steele trying to get the drive going again. He would fake it. Oh, and what an acrobatic pick by Rylan Mollahan, doing it on both sides of the ball. That could be a top play nominee right there. And Mollahan would do it with his arm as well. Finding Smith in the end zone for the touchdown. The Golden Rockets were on it all night long tonight, taking over in the second half, and they would take this one 36-7.
Jacob, you mentioned that Wellston pulled away in the second half. Was this because their offense found gaps in the defense, or did NY just fall apart?
Look, Rylan Mollahan was a monster here tonight. He was getting to the outside, finding every way to get into the end zone for touchdowns all night long. He would have over 257 yards of total offense and 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air. He was a monster tonight, finding ways to score anytime he could.
So Wellston's run game had it going. What happened with the Buckeyes on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, look, the Buckeyes could not find a way to get it going here tonight. They have one thing really working for them, though. They have that big play ability. Mikey Steele had nice runs like he did right here. Keegan Wilburn had that nice touchdown, but they could not sustain drives for very long. They struggled to get through this Wellston defense, and it showed all night long.
Yeah, NY couldn't get much going tonight. How were they contained all night?
Look, this defense was stout all night long, holding Keegan Wilburn to under 30 yards rushing total. They just gave up that one big touchdown pass, and that was all they could do all night long. That Wellston front, led and coached by Mike Smith, was ready to go all night long. And look, you know what? If they keep playing the way they do, they are in the driver's seat right now for the TVC Ohio crown, and I don't see anyone who can stop them.
Yeah, should be another good TVC Ohio game. Thanks, Jacob. And here is our tweet of the week. It is the Crooksville boys with the trash talk. Well, trash tweet. The caption says, thumbs up if you hate New Lex. And I think, oh, sorry, we're having technical difficulties. This is last week's tweet of the week. But make sure to go onto our social media accounts. We're going to repost those ones. It's New Lex. It's Crooksville going at New Lex, so it's kind of dicey. We liked it a lot. But alrighty, moving forward, our fan of the week was, again, not just one, but multiple people. I talked with little kids, students in the crowd, and the cheerleading coach for one of the squads. We had 2 teams in our coverage playing tonight, so I got to see which student section was louder and who had more school's pride. Here are our fans of the week. Do you think that you're the biggest fan for the Sheridan Generals?
Yes.
Why? So sorry. Sorry. Do you want to be on TV? Does anybody want to be on TV?
Yeah.
What's the dance right now? Can you give it to me? Is there hands or is it more like a stomp?
It's okay. So what we do is
Why do you think you're the biggest fan?
because we yell loud when they do that one song.
and we're like, whoa.
Whoa.
And then we're
Right.
Okay.
and then we don't like them.
That's it.
And we do that, and then
Fucking go. Okay.
we back up, grab their instruments for them, and then hand it back, and then we start playing again.
Why do you think you're Tri-Valley's biggest fan?
Why? Because we're out here supporting, doing whatever we can every Friday night, year-round for all the sports, making sure that the noise behind the boys is ready to go.
There we go. Should I throw it up? No, that's so unsafe. Like, instantly we're like, I gotta see this guy.
I like cameras.
Yeah? Yeah. Do you want to be the biggest fan here? Do you think you're the biggest fan?
I sure hope so.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I'm loud.
Why are you the biggest fan?
Because I've been the cheerleading coach for 12 years.
Okay, all right, so you lead everyone.
I've seen everybody.
For one of our fan of the weeks we're giving out. All right, we're going to give it to my man in pink. There you go, there's a t-shirt.
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
There you go.
Thank you
There
very much.
For our other fan of the week, we're going to give it to the old cheerleading coach. There you go. Yeah, we'll give you a little bag. Yeah, there you go. For our final fan of the week,
He doesn't play the tuba. It's a different instrument. I already forgot what it's called. But he is an awesome fan, and he loves this team, so here you go. All right, ready? Hey, there we go. There's our point. Yeah!
Those fans were great. Shout out to the Jorts guy as well, and that cheerleading coach. She was awesome. But the play on the field was pretty awesome, too. The game had star talent and MVL championship implications, and that is why it's our game of the week.
Go!
Alrighty, joining me now is MVL lead reporter Paul Roth, who was at the game in Sheridan.
Joe, this game was big. The outcome could really shake things up in the MVL and blow the whole conference wide open. But going to the Generals now, they were all business looking for their first win over Tri-Valley since 2016. The Scotties weren't going to lie down. Aiden Fritter takes the option keeper to the right, and it's 7-0 Scotties early. And after a Generals 3 and out, it's Fritter back again, drops back and heaves it. Camera loses it, but that's okay, because Rob Wachter never does. And he hauls in the 52-yard pass, and why not get a little more with his feet? Then a couple plays later, Fritter again, option to the right, and he's going to take a big shot to the head, but look at him. He doesn't care. He's loving it. He's got 2 tutties, and the Scotties are up 14. Now Sheridan driving, but facing a 4th and 7. Nate Johnson throws, and his pit, no, it's not, somehow gets through to Lucan Hill, who lets him know that's a first down Sheridan. And it will prove worth it as Johnson finds Landon Russell, and he's going to stretch it in for the score. Now there's just 43 seconds left before halftime. Not a lot of time for Tri-Valley, but the way this man was playing, I would not bet against him. Fritter drops back, and he's going to sling it to who else but Rob Wachter again, and you may be seeing that one again in top plays coming up. Then, with 4 seconds left, Fritter over the middle on the slant. That's Keaton Williams with the grab and celly, and he's got a lot to celebrate after the Scotties finish off the Generals 38-21.
Wow, so Tri-Valley hand Sheridan their first MVL loss of the season. Tri-Valley came into this one hot, but the Generals are a strong team.
Yeah, the Scotties' offense was scorching hot after last week, and while 38 points is no chump change, their defense was what stepped up big tonight. They forced a 3 and out on each of Sheridan's first 3 drives. The Generals could not get anything going early because Tri-Valley's front 7 was consistently getting into the backfield and slamming the door on the Generals' run game. And then they kept that pressure when they dropped back to pass and made Nate Johnson hurry a lot of his reads.
All right, now we got to get to that offense, though. 73 points last week, another 38 tonight.
Yeah, last week it was Blake Sands going off on the ground, but tonight Aiden Fritter just went off. It's just his first season as a starter, but he quickly has shown he can handle the pressure. 3 touchdowns in the first half for QB1, and he was able to just give it to his workhorse to finish it off in the second.
Yeah, and I already know who you're talking about. Blake Sands. Dude had a huge week last week, so he was bound to go off again this time.
Yeah, he had a quiet first half, at least by his standards, just 74 yards on the ground. But in the second, he was the go-to guy. He finished up with 222 yards and a couple scores to go with him. Yeah, but Joe, this now leaves a 3-way tie at the top of the MVL between Sheridan, Tri-Valley, and John Glenn.
Yeah, it should be interesting as the season winds down. Thanks for the great work, Paul. And shout out to Todd Fouts from Trimble. He sent Gridiron this one on our Snapchat of the boys pouring Gatorade into the famous Burr Oak Trophy Bowl. Trimble has held that trophy in that school since 2001, and I guess that means this pregame pour and chug is a tradition and superstition. It's working on the field, and we appreciate the snap, Todd, and congrats on keeping it at home yet again. We showed you some Lyman love, but now it's time for our top plays. We may have some more lineman plays. I don't know. Maybe we have some touchdowns, maybe some crowd silencing hits. Maybe it's time to roll the tape. Alrighty, let's get to it. Top plays. Let's get at it. At number 5, Wellston's RJ Kemp drops back and he throws it down the right sideline. You're going to see it here to Hunter Smith with the sideline snag. 1 foot in. What a grab. That's a first down, and that is number 5. To number 4 we go. Hillsborough, they're trying to get things going on offense with the big play, but hold on. It's Logan Snowden on Chillicothe with the athletic pick in the end zone for the touchback. Big time play. That's number 4. At number 3, you probably just saw it. It's Aiden Fritter to Rob Watcher for the big gain. Just short of the touchdown, but that snag was nice. He got behind both DBs and secured the grab for the long gain. Nice job, boys. At number 2, it's just a pitch to Gallia's Kyle Northup, right? But wait, it's a double pass? He's going to launch it deep to Ashton Janey for the gain and the momentum shift. That's amazing. I don't know how to top that. That's a big-time play. There's nothing we can do, right? Oh, wait. Here's number 1. It's Mikey Steele. He's going to drop back. He's throwing it to Keegan Wilburn, but it gets popped up in the air and picked off by Rylan Mullahan with the acrobatic jump. That is our top play. Alrighty, that's it for this week's games. They were some pretty good ones, but stick around to see where we will be at next week. These teams we're going to see are playing some good football, and we need to see it. Here is where you can find Gridiron Glory for Week 8 of games. In the Hocking, both of these teams are fighting for a playoff chance. The Waterford Wildcats at the Southern Tornadoes. We have 2 MVL matchups next week. We will be at John Glenn at Tri-Valley. Reese Perkins, Aiden Fritter, Blake Sands. That game is filled with talent, and a share of the MVL championship is on the line. We will also be at the Maysville at Philo game. The Panthers travel to that awesome electric stadium. We're looking forward to that one. In the FAC, Jackson at Miami Trace. GGPOY candidate Jaden Spires leads the way. With Eisenhower, they're coming off their win over Courthouse tonight. Shout out to my parents, by the way. We're going to see your high school play. And hey, Ashton, if you're watching, if you see someone with a GG shirt and a camera, say you know me. We'll get you on TV. And our game of the week is Athens at Wellston. The Bulldogs are 3-4, but undefeated in TVC Ohio play, and the Wellston Rockets are on top, rolling through the league so far. Mike Smith has turned that program around in one season, and Mullahan leads the way for the Rockets. Joey Moore isn't just going to give up, though. It's going to be a good one, and that's why it's our game of the week. Alrighty, it's time. Now we're going to find out who our Player of the Year and Coach of the Year candidates are. These players have been going off this season, no other way to put it. And these coaches, they've been putting those guys in positions to succeed. We have Connor Wright, stud running back from Trimble. Jaden Spires, running back from Jackson. Sawyer Coons, the leader of the shutout defense for Trimble. Keegan Wilburn, record-breaking wide receiver for Nelsonville York. Then Rylan Mullahan, running back for the top dog, Wellston Rockets. We also have Blake Sands, leading running back for Tri-Valley. Eli Lynch, record-breaking wideout at Washington Courthouse. Ethan Rogers-Wright, the quarterback throwing to Eli Lynch. Reese Perkins, wide receiver athlete for the Little Muskies of John Glenn. And finally, Trey McNichol, running back for Southern. Now it's time for our Coach of the Year candidates. These coaches have been doing a great job this year, and we see the work they are putting in to get the boys ready for Friday nights. We have Mike Smith for leading Wellston to the top, Andy Hall from FAC leading Jackson, Phil Ferris with the Trimble Tomcats, Paul Culver III for Sheridan, Kevin Board, who we saw earlier tonight for New Lex, Chuck Williamson with Washington Courthouse, and finally we have Mike Duvall for Belpre. Alrighty, that's it. Now those lists are not finalized, and the next couple weeks could cause those to change, but those guys have been absolutely balling out this year, and that's why they are the candidates so far. And our show is done, but our coverage never stops. Follow all of our social media accounts to see repeats of tonight's show and more. We're excited to watch these players and coaches finish out the season and to see if they can stay on top. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. We're looking forward to the next week's game of the week, Athens going against Wellston. That's a big one. We'll have you up to date with all of our playoff potential teams next week as well. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory. You bring glory, we report it.